Hello everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started with a video where we practice solving proportions. So first things first, there are going to be a couple more videos up this week between what we put on Twitch and any other ones that I do this week over material like this. They'll be up in a little bit. Make sure to email me if you've got questions, if you have any comments or concerns. Send them to my email. I'll answer them directly. Alright, so what am I doing today? Today we're going to be talking about solving proportions. We're going to be using cross multiplication and division. And the reason we're going to be doing this is because we need to be able to solve proportions in order to work with complex proportional diagrams. So let's start off with an easy one. Again, our goal here is to get n by itself to solve for n. There are two ways that I can conceive of you going about this, and either way is fine. I'm not going to tell you which way is best. It's all about which one makes you happy on the inside. So the first way is just to notice, hey, if I have this n here, I can just get rid of this over 7, right? If I multiply both sides by 7, just times 7 to both sides, and that cancels out. Over here on the right and on the left, you do 7 times 5, and you get n equals 35 over 2. Now, for some of you, you might be thinking, oh, that's not how I learned it. That's not how I want to do it. Great, fine, awesome. If you're using cross products to solve, remember you cross multiply, then divide. 7 times 5 is 35. 2 times n is 2n. And then you can divide both sides by 2 to make n go by itself. And so you have n equals 35 over 2. Notice I got the same exact answer either way. It just really depends on how you like it. For the most part, I'm going to be following this method over here on the right, just because that's the way that most people know. If you're interested in doing more with this when you can, please feel free. That'll be fine. So go ahead and try this one. Alright, so again, we're going to take these, we're going to cross multiply and divide. So the one thing to be careful of before you get started is this negative sign. Be careful with negative signs. Before you start your problem, take the negative sign and put it somewhere. Doesn't matter where, just take it, put it on top or put it on bottom. I like to put it on top usually, but it doesn't matter at all. So I'm going to rewrite my problem with the negative sign up in the attic, just so that it's out of the way. We don't have to think about it so hard. Cross multiply. Then we can divide the 10 away to get our final answer of negative 20 divided by 10, which is negative 2. Alright, go ahead and try this one. Okay, the thing to keep in mind is with this binomial here, you're going to want to multiply this to everything. My recommendation is to actually write out the step. So first of all, negative sign up in the attic. Here I've got the problem, I'm rewriting it, and I'm putting parentheses around the 3p minus 10, just so I can take one step at a time. And all I did was I wrote out the multiplication step. this thing equals this thing. Now, when you're doing this, you're going to notice now that you've written it down like this, oh, distribution. Don't make it hard on yourself. Make sure to multiply to both. 4 times 3p is 12p. Minus 4 times 10 is 40. Negative 10 and 8 is negative 80. And then I can solve for p. So we've got 12p equals negative 40. I'm going to divide 12. And here's the thing. You've got this, the 40 on top, the 12 on bottom. There's a 4 in common on top and on bottom. 40 divided by 4 is 10. You got that negative sign still up there, negative 10. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then double check. 10 and 3 no longer have anything in common. So you're free to just say, hey, I'm done. Notice how I did not write the answer as a decimal. I shall not write the answer as a decimal, ever. For these, fractions are the way to go. Both when you're talking about the similarity ratios and all of that, fractions are always the way to go, and these answers are going to facilitate that. Alright, same thing. Go ahead and try this out on your own first. Okay, so once again, I'm going to put this in parentheses just so that my situation is a little bit easier. So I've got 9 times the quantity 3r minus 6 equals 12. And notice I'm putting the variable here on the left-hand side. I like the variable on the left. If you have the variable on the right-hand side, you're going to get the same answer. That's okay. Distribute 9 times 3, that's 27r, minus 9 times 6, which is 54. Now we're going to add around to the other side. We got 66. I'm going to divide by 27 to both sides. And again, you look here and you see that there's a common factor of 3, right? 66 divided by 3. You got 22. 27 divided by 3, that's 9. You look, 22 doesn't have any factors of 3 in them. 9 doesn't have any factors of 11 or factors of 2. So this is my final answer. No common factors left. Alright, go ahead and try this one on your own. Okay, so don't be afraid of the fact that there's 2 variables in here. Just treat them like, you know, whatever. Don't want to take my negative sign. And as I said, you can put it up top or put it on bottom. Wherever you want. I tend to like to take the negative sign and put it with a number if I can. If I can't, then I do what I have to do. But I like to put it with a number when I can. That makes my life easier. So you can put it down here just as easily, in fact, more easily than if you put it up at the top. So it's up to you. If you prefer always putting the negative sign on the top, just be careful. If you prefer always putting the negative sign with the number when you can, that's great. That's wonderful. Then you're like me. X over negative 3 equals 3x minus 10 over 9. And then cross multiply. And again, put that in parentheses just so that you have less thinking to do. I'm always going to write out this statement, this sort of multiplication statement before I begin. And I always do that because it makes it easier to do the problem. Some people try to do any old thing with this. Don't. I say, if you are getting the answer wrong, make it your mission to do this step every single time. Write it out. Eliminate all the fractions and make them go away before you do anything else, before you even bother doing anything else. But now that I've got all the fractions away, I can distribute. And here, a negative and a negative, two negatives make a positive, right? Now, here's where things start to get complicated. Look how there's a variable on both sides. It behooves us to keep something on both sides. Notice that this variable is already by itself. Why not take the variables on the left and bring them over to the variables on the right? So we're going to, since this is negative, we're going to add 9y, 9x over. We're going to add 9x, and we're going to put it over here. And we've got 30 equals 9 plus 9 is 18x. And now I'm going to do my division. And again, you look to see what they have in common. 30 and 18 both have a factor of 6, right? So we can divide by 6. We can divide by 6. And we end up with our final answer. I'm going to put the x on the left. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 18 divided by 6 is 3. There's my final answer. Go ahead and do this one on your own. Okay, so once again, take a second, put your binomials in parentheses, put your negative sign up on a number. So we got 3p plus 10 in parentheses over p equals negative 9 over 6, and then I'm going to cross multiply. That's negative 9 and p, that's negative 9p equals 6 times the quantity 3p plus 10, and then you're going to distribute. Six times 3 is 18. 6 times 10 is 60. And notice I always have the variable here. I see sometimes people eliminating the variable in there, just not writing it down. Don't do that. Make sure you write the variable down. Okay, so now again, you see the negative 9p's all by itself, right? Bring all the other p's to it. Have a party at his place. Subtracting 18p. 9, 18, 27. Got negative 27p equals 60. Then I can go ahead and divide. And again, I'm going to divide by a common factor. I'm going to divide by 3 because that's what I see. 60 divided by 3 is 20. Negative 27 divided by 3 is negative 9. Double check. 20 and negative 9 no longer have anything in common. So we are good to go. Alright, so take a look at these. See if you can figure out how to do this one. Okay, so again, start off, put your binomials in parentheses, take your negative signs, put them up with a number where you can. So look at what we have. We've got negative 10 over x plus 10 in parentheses equals negative 7 over 5x minus 2 in parentheses. Now we're going to cross multiply. And again, I'm going to write it out. I absolutely am. And the reason I am is because I have to. If I don't write it out for myself, I'm going to get lost. I don't want to do stuff in my head unless I have to. Notice how I write it out like this. It looks very easy to deal with now. Whereas before, you're trying to do it in your head. Who wants to do that? So we've got negative 10 times 5 is negative 50x. Negative 2 times negative 10 is positive 20. And same thing here, distribute negative 7x minus 70. And then it doesn't matter which way you go. I'm going to add over here to get my x over on the left. Leave me with negative 43x plus 20 is negative 70. And then now I'm going to subtract the 20. I'm going to subtract the 20 because it's connected to the term here with plus sign, so you got to subtract it. Negative 70 and negative 20 together make negative 90. And then I want to get x by itself, so let's divide the 43. So we got negative 90 over negative 43. And then we look and see, what do they have in common? Well, they sure have that negative sign in common, but do they have any numbers? 43 is prime. 43 has no divisors except for itself and 1. So 43 doesn't go into 90, and nobody cares about 1. So the only thing that we can worry about is the minus signs, which we can divide by negative 1 to the top and bottom and get our answer of 90 over 43. Final answer. So now let's do this last one. Go ahead and do this one yourself. See if you can do it. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna cross multiply here. Make sure that my negative sign is up. And distribute. I don't know what that was going to be. It's supposed to be a V. 9 times 6 is 54. Negative 8, so we got negative 24V plus, because two negatives make a positive, 24. So I'm going to add the 24V over. Got 30V over here. These cancel out. We're left with 24 right here. So I'm going to subtract the 54. And look, lo and behold, negative 30. Divide both sides. This divides evenly, so we don't have to simplify a fraction. 30 divided by 30 is 1. So we get V equals negative 1. Final answer. All right. If you have any questions, reminder, email me. Email me. My email is right here. Make sure that you use it. If there are any questions, email them, and then I will do them on a Twitch stream. So go ahead and get to work on this, practice it, master it, and have a wonderful day.